Hey, this is the snuffleupagus of the KMA's Eastern offices, Aaron, the man with the perfect face for radio. And you're listening to the incomparable Jeff Stevens Must Hear Top 5 for Season 3 of the 1000 Second Album podcast. And these are the 5 Henry Rollins songs you must hear.
Hi, I'm Jeff Steven, and you're listening to the 1000 Second Album podcast. This season, we're talking about must-hear lists as I continue to ask people that are important to me all about the music that's important to them. Enjoy.
Please welcome Aaron Stewart.
Hi, how you doing?
Or I should say, please welcome back again, Aaron Stewart. But,
That's okay.
Here.
I'll come back anytime.
I love it. And I knew you wouldn't take too much persuading to come back to talk about the gentleman today, Henry Rollins. And what I guess to begin, what were some of your sort of early memories of Henry Rollins, or where does the story all begin for you?
Okay, well, I got that in your email and I put some thought into it. And it's really hard to remember because it seems like he's always been there. I was definitely late to the game. I was a kid when Black Flag was a thing, and they were not on my small town radar. So I'm going to say sometime in the 90s, probably closer to early 90s than later. I remember going into a record shop when we lived in Montreal, and I found all of the Black Flag albums that he was on for sale used. And I didn't really have the money at the time, but it didn't matter. I bought them anyway. And so then I did a deep dive and went back to what came before. But I remember Liar. I remember that stuff. We saw him in Montreal for the Get Some Go Again tour. And that was with the revamped Mother Superior lineup of the Rollins band. And it was incredible. We saw 2 spoken word shows, one in Montreal, one in Toronto. And over the years, I think I've collected just about everything, I think. Yeah. And that's talking albums, that's talking books, that's talking DVDs, movies he was in. If it's not complete, it's close. And that makes me somewhat, I'm not a stalker, but I really do enjoy his output. So when I find something, I grab it. And that's been going on for decades now.
You're an enthusiast, which is good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good. No, and I'm glad you mentioned that idea of him doing just about everything, because my introduction would have been somewhere in the ballpark of 1994, where there was a movie called The Chase starring Charlie Sheen, and then there was a police officer hot on his heels that I learned was Henry Rollins, and it continued that tradition of musicians popping up in these films. Like there was in Back to the Future 2, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers is the one who's peer pressuring Marty McFly and all that sort of thing. So I thought that was a fun sort of continuation of the musicians as actors in these films. A bunch of my friends were really into the Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight soundtrack the next year that Rollins band had a tune on there. And then years down the road, one of my colleagues at work was similar to you, where like was a real big fan. I think got to go see some of the spoken word performances, and just the more he talked about Henry Rollins, I thought like this is a really interesting artist where they're definitely not just playing to a formula. They're really just dabbling in all these different areas. So just really sounded like an intriguing guy. And then I stumbled upon a blog that from a reliable source that had a lot of nice things to say about Henry Rollins as well. And so it was, so I'm glad this ended up being the topic today, because with Henry, there's much to discuss.
Yes, he's definitely a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
What's the word? Polymath? Is that the word? Where you're really good at a bunch of things?
I guess, yeah, because I'd like to think of myself as being adequate in a lot of things, but Henry would be, he'd be much more adept at a lot of things.
What I say is I'm a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, that fits for me too. So, so, and in this case here, we're not necessarily talking about what we think are his best songs, but the ones that we'd argue are his must hear for whatever reason. And you're saying you have some reasons as to why you might have chosen these guys here?
Oh, yeah. Well, when you talk about how important this guy's output is to me, there's a bunch of things here. Like I was going to suggest we could do 5 Must Hear Rollins lyrics.
Yes.
Right? Like the breakdown in the song Change Up, when he says, "Don't justify your complacency to me. That's not an adventure. That's a job." I love that.
Yes.
We could also have done like appearances on other people's albums or his top 5 Rollins band cover tunes that they did, or Black Flag as well. Black Flag songs, spoken word performances, movies he's in, books that he wrote, all that stuff. But I thought we'd keep it to music because that is more accessible. I could also have done a must hear Black Flag Rollins band list of songs you haven't heard, but that you have to,
Yes.
because there are famous ones. But then there are these other ones that if you really get into it with him, it's like once it gets into your blood, there are other ones that will blow your mind. But I figured if anybody listening to this gets inspired to go listen to Rollins, we've already won.
Yes.
And they're going to discover those on their own.
That's right.
Right.
And that's how I like to frame this too, is it's more of like this is our sort of our idea to get you started, and then where they go from there, it's a choose your own adventure. And so, but
Absolutely.
if we help get them on that path, then mission accomplished, and and all is well.
Oh yeah, and I only have one request if you do that.
Yes.
Turn it up.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not loud enough. Turn it
No,
up.
no, to 11 at least. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now we're going into Spinal Tap
yeah.
territory. But yeah, I also I have one song that everybody's going to expect me to include, and I didn't, and that is Liar.
Mhm.
And probably because that was like the height of his notoriety. Like he was on MTV and completely a fish out of water because they didn't think that was going to happen. Actually, if you read back through the history and the label told them that song was going to be the single, they said, oh God, we're screwed. Right. But it ended up being a huge song.
Yeah.
I have possible but not included are all the spoken word performances, which would be its own list we already discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I have an honorable mention, which is his appearance on the Tool album Undertow, and a song called Bottom, when he's naked and fearless. That's awesome. I like that. But I just wanted to keep it to the Black Flag and Rollins band actual songs. And I have a KMA mention.
Yes.
So this one's for James. Actually, the song from Black Flag called Room 13 is the reason our blog was called Keeps Me Alive. Because I was listening to that song and he keeps saying, keeps me alive. Don't know if I can do it. And Keeps Me Alive seemed like something that would make a really good name for the blog. So I wanted to give a shout out to that, but it's not on my list.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's a good problem when there's too many that can't quite fit.
So it's endless.
That's good. But I guess the question would therefore be, what is one of the ones that did make the final 5?
Okay. Well, before I get into that, I want to give a proper shout out to all of the Black Flag lineups, the original Rollins band lineup, and the Mother Superior incarnation for hitting so hard and making these discographies absolute bombs that go off in your stereo. So I could have chosen any of the songs. They all hit different on different days, but they're all awesome. So the first one that I would give, and I'll finally get around to it and stop blathering, is the song Get Some, Go Again from the album of the same name. Not only because that's the tour that we saw. And so I find when you see a band in concert, that album sort of stands out in the discography somehow because they were playing mostly those songs when you're there. But also this song, it's driving. It's got motivational energy and it makes you feel lazy just listening to it. Like if it doesn't make you want to get up and do stuff or break stuff, you're not living correctly. I don't know what will. It's a song about determination and resilience and not caring what other people do or think. It's this single-minded drive. And something else that stands out to me about this song, Rollins himself, and everybody knows this, he's very soaked in and connected to, and he pays constant homage to early punk and metal. And he loves Motorhead. And so in my mind, this song and Motorhead's Ace of Spades have a real similar energy where you just want to go. So I say just turn it up and go again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a good song.
I like it. Nice. And it sounds like I always like when an album has the right title track, and it sounds like if the album is the same name and this one really drives that hard, then it sounds like he chose wisely for the the
Oh,
title track there. Yeah.
it's a good one. Turn it up.
Nice. The I'll go. So my first one,
Yes,
you alluded to earlier, and I find whatever song introduces you to an artist, inevitably for me that carries a lot of weight as the years go on. And for me, it is the song "Liar." That was the first one
excellent.
that was my introduction.
Yep,
It was because it was a 94-ish, I think.
it
That one
was.
was, yeah. And so it had, I really liked, there's a window in there where a few songs had that sort of a bit of a spoken verse in the verse rather than singing, and then a big chorus where, do you remember Nada Surf song Popular?
Of course.
Yeah, so that's that's one of my favorites from the era where, and then it just with the big hit in the chorus. Um,
Yeah.
I love the as a fellow guitar fan, I love the progression in that song with those like minor seventh chords, and it's just yeah, it's just because I guess so many songs have had like B minor A G, but he had B minor seven, then walk it down with the A, and then a G minor seven, where it just had this sort of intriguing sort of pattern to it that I really enjoyed. And it's the
All hail Chris Haskett.
yeah, I guess that's true. And the great artists are smart enough to surround themselves with great musicians as well, which
Oh yeah.
yeah, he would have there. Um, I really like, or it's almost like creepy how relevant that song still is today, where he had some standout lines there like, I say everything you wanted to hear. You're in need of human contact, where he's almost, I guess at the time he was talking about sort of a more of a romantic relationship, I think, in the song. But
Possibly.
possibly, yeah. No, that's what I inferred. But it really seemed to anticipate the 20, 30 years later of like people being fed the information they want to hear online and making them sort of susceptible
Oh,
to things that aren't true or conspiracies or things because they're in search of that connection and they're being fed these not so truths by that source.
that is a fascinating connection. Well done.
Oh, thank
I hadn't put that
you.
together.
But it's just something like you said, where it's not confirmed what the original like what the person was lying about in the original song. So it does, I think a lot of the great art does open itself up to multiple interpretations. So it's yeah, it has that timeless quality as a result, I think.
Well done. I like that.
Thanks.
Do you find when you listen to that song that it almost feels like a like the slower parts, not the punch you in your face
Sure.
chorus, but
Yeah.
the slower the down parts almost feels like a metal version of a Motown song.
Okay. I
You
hadn't
ever get
picked
that feel from it?
when I go back to it again, I'll listen for I wouldn't have made
Okay.
that connection. The thought I
Okay.
thought it's very hypnotic in those verses. Like and so but that's a fun I'm gonna listen for the Motown metal connection.
I may
That
be
yeah.
wrong. I may be wrong. And everybody listening
Yeah.
is going, what is he talking
Uh,
about? But
No,
I kind of feel that way sometimes.
yeah. And with Rollins though, I wouldn't doubt if that's part of it though, where he's
Oh
like
yeah.
because he had such a wide range that bringing that in. And it's funny the that song and you mentioned Motorhead's Ace of Spades as well.
Mhm.
Our kids are into card games, and one of the games they really like is Cheat. And so
Of course.
my references fly over their heads when I'll growl that I'm playing the Ace of Spades that sort of thing. But and when I get caught cheating in the card game Cheat, I'll grumble and I'm a liar as well. And so one day they'll get the references, but for now I'm enjoying them even if they're not fully aware of it. So
If you're parenting correctly, you'll have a CD in the car
that's
or
very
a
nice.
thumb drive now
That's
in the
right.
car where they can hear those
Yeah.
songs and then they'll get it.
It'll all
That's what
become
I've done.
clear. Yeah. I like
I
it.
pummeled my kids for years with this stuff.
Yeah. As is our parenting responsibility, I guess. So that's
Absolutely.
good.
I got to tell you, I figured this song would come up. I saw a meme online recently. It was a picture of Henry Rollins,
Yeah.
and it said, "Given the current political climate, I would trust this man to be in charge." And the very first comment underneath said, "But he's a liar. He'll tear your mind out. He'll burn your soul."
But he'll tell us everything
Right?
we want to hear. And so,
Right? I thought
that's
that
good.
was funny.
I like that. That's good. So we got a couple good ones to start. The question is, where did you go with your second selection?
My next one, I'm going back a ways to Black Flag. and My War from the
Speaking
same
of
album of the same name.
speaking of
That's
title
two
tracks,
songs in a row.
yeah.
I mean, if you've heard this song, you know what I'm going to say. If you haven't, just go listen to it. Henry Rollins' time in Black Flag was controversial, but because people liked Keith Morris, and I do too. But when Rollins took over, he made it into something that he would carry on for a long time afterwards. But that band became really not just about punk aggression and disaffection and that kind of stuff, but more aggressive, heavier. So My War to me is like this ultimate conflict, alienation, personal struggle song where there's frustration and anger and defiance and I'm being misunderstood. This song just, if you ever have those moments, the song speaks to you. And the guitar work is intense. And the way he performs this song, he leaves everything out there. Like you get the impression that when they were done recording, he fell over, that he collapsed because there was nothing left. He just gives it, and it's powerful.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Nice. And I can't picture him ever phoning anything in. And
Oh
so,
no.
so I'd imagine, yeah, that feels like an appropriate studio performance, even whether it's studio or live, that, yeah, I could totally picture that of just, it's all, whatever I've got to give, it's there. Yeah.
Oh, every drop of blood and sweat. And I had the opportunity to meet him
Yeah.
after the show we saw, the spoken word show we saw in Montreal. Our friend Jordy, who we called Fraggle, because when he walked, his hair bounced.
Yeah.
Jordy had met him before, and he's like, man, if you just wait around after the gig, he's always out there by the bus and he'll stay until everybody's gone. He will not leave. He will talk to everyone. Come meet him. You're such a fan. And I did not because, and I chose that consciously because part of it's don't meet your heroes, but part of it was also, I just like the idea that he was out there somewhere and meeting him would bring it too close. Yeah. I like that he was just out there. So I was like, no, man, you go ahead. That's fine. But by all accounts, he's very nice to talk to. He's very pleasant and welcoming, if as long as you're pleasant and welcoming, you know. And so when you hear these songs like My War, or any of them actually, and you get that aggression and that energy, and I'm going to punish you. And like when we saw the Rollins band in concert, he did that crouch down the front of the stage. And he had this look in his eye like he was going to come off the stage and eat everybody. It was so intense. Yeah. But then apparently to meet him, he's super nice, right? Like he's this nice guy, right? So, so it's to get that on a recording is really cool. Sure. And you don't feel like he's putting it on.
No,
you feel like it's real, right?
Yeah.
He's putting everything into that song. Yeah. It's really good.
I like it. Nice.
Yeah.
I went with Black Flag for my next one as well, but switched to more of the levity. And I have some former students to thank where it's funny in my profession. You end up, chatting with people about music they like. And there was a group of kids probably about 15 years ago that brought Damage, the album, the LP of that. And we're going to say like, you've got to listen to this, Mr. Steven. And the one they really liked was TV Party was the big standout for them, where it's a lot of fun. I love the hand claps in it, and so and it's probably like needed after so if there's songs as intense as My War, you sort of need a bit of a respite in there as well to have a bit of fun along the way. I love the twist ending in the song where the TV's broken and it's a fun commentary too about like how I think the guys are chanting like, we don't want I can't remember the lyric exactly, but it's like they don't want to hear what they don't want to hear. And so like almost like surrounding themselves in again 4 decades earlier an echo chamber, but through the TV rather than computer. And just really a lot of fun, but with some commentary in there too. So TV Party, thank you to those students from 15 years ago or so for introducing me to that.
Well done.
Yeah.
Another good song for that is Six Pack.
Yes, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It's along the same
Yeah.
line, right?
Yes. That's
Uh,
right. With some levity, which is good.
yeah, no, and
Yes.
thank you for adding that because I
But,
seem to have picked everything
but
that's all, you
which
know.
is good though too. It balances out neatly. So that's good. Nice. I think out of
Yep.
curiosity, where did you go with the third selection for
Oh,
today?
the third one is from '94, so around with Liar, the Wait album, and it is a song called Fool. And this is Henry Rollins' relationship song. But of course, being Rollins, it isn't a "Oh Baby, I Love You" song. It is. It goes into vulnerability and emotional turmoil and introspection and eventual self-awareness or attempting self-awareness. But it's so open and it's so real that he makes attempted human connection sound harrowing. Right, like he really goes for it, and like the title of the album, the song carries a lot of weight,
Yeah.
and it's an on top of all of that, it's another Rollins band banger that you can just crank it up and it'll make you drive fast or want to pummel a punching bag or whatever. But he really delves into the emotion on that song. I'm a fool to believe you. I'm a fool to believe my heart is so wide open. I'm so easy to deceive. Like he's talking about being hurt basically, but it's because he's trying that he's being hurt. And so there's this vulnerability to it. I love it. It's a great song.
Nice. And Fool is the name. That's good.
Cool. Yes.
Yeah, good choice. The third for my third choice, I was in a similar era. If we were talking about the must hear soundtracks from the 1990s, I'd probably
Mm.
have the soundtrack to the movie The Crow on that list.
Oh,
Lots
yes.
of good ones on there. And the Rollins band contribution to that one was Ghost Rider.
Of course.
And it's one where I didn't probably the mark of a good cover is when you don't realize it's a cover. And I later learned it's a song by the band Suicide from the album Suicide as well. And when I so that album, the Suicide album, was on the 1001 albums list that I went
Oh,
through.
cool. Oh,
And
yeah.
when I listened to it, I got the distinct impression that it's one of those ones that you can't feel halfway about it. It's either going to be off the charts amazing or what am I listening to here? And I'd imagine some probably like the Henry Rollins probably won't be for everybody, but those that Henry Rollins speaks to, present company very much included,
Oh,
he
yes.
really speaks to. And so I think this is one of those ones that it's probably fitting that they chose a group like that to cover. And yeah, just really nice groove to it. Ghost Rider. And just to show not only can they do their own stuff really well, they can interpret others excellently as well.
That's really good. And I like that angle because to me, every time the Rollins did a cover, it wasn't so much as, hey, can we make this awesome?
Yeah.
To me, it was, hey, can we do this justice? Right? Like they would only cover songs that they felt like they could respect the original. They weren't trying to really necessarily make it their own. They just like really love this song and they want to do it and they want to respect it. So here it is. So that I like your angle too. That's good.
Yes. The question now the question is, and I have a feeling because his catalog is so deep, I have a feeling we probably won't end up with any Venn diagram overlap, and that's all right as well.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna be.
it'll be sorry, mutually exclusive is good too.
What you do
The
is you put Rollins, Jeff likes,
yeah.
Rollins, Aaron likes, and where it overlaps is Jeff and Aaron.
No, that's exactly it. That we both like Rollins.
Yes.
That's good. But there's still well, you never know with our fourth and fifth picks. We'll see where we end up. But
We'll
the
see how
question
we
is,
do.
yeah, where did you end up on your fourth?
Oh, okay. So this one's probably predictable.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to Rise Above from Damaged, Black Flag. And anybody listening is going, yeah, okay. Because it's so iconic to the punk movement, in my mind, in my humble opinion. And as the title would suggest, it's about defiance, determination, strength, rising above negativity and the system, whatever else is pushing you down, people in your life, whatever it is, we're going to rise above. It's got a clear-eyed focus, snotty youth brashness, and, pure energy. So without a doubt, I'm going to tell you, anybody listening, it's the best way you can spend less than 3 minutes today. Put it in, turn it up, and just go, yes.
I like that. It's a low risk, high reward because 3 minutes we can all spare that much, and if the
Absolutely.
return on that investment is good, I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
And I
Nice.
say that way because Rollins was once quoted as saying that Motorhead's Ace of Spades, there they are again,
Yeah.
that song was the best way you could spend 2 minutes and 13 seconds, right?
Yeah.
That he was saying, there's nothing I could do that would top that just go do that. Just go listen to that. And I would say that about Rise Above.
Love it. Love it. The
Mm-hmm.
I like I like how we've unintentionally had these nice pendulum swings as well, whereas your last choice featured, as you said, the youthful brashness. Mine goes the other way,
Yes.
where again, showing that the range that he has. A
Yep.
song that jumped out at me was when I guess he's collaborated with many people. You mentioned Tool earlier as well. One of the
Mm-hmm.
collaborations that I was surprised by was with William Shatner.
Oh, I
And he
can't. Yes.
so the song I Can't Get Behind That, where
Yes.
again early 2000s I think it was, and it's one of those ones that like on paper probably shouldn't work, but it somehow does. And the
Yes.
it's just this sort of like list of grievances that they have, but it's a lot of fun and a lot of energy. And I remember sort of it was almost like a record scratch when he got to the line, the leaf blowers. Is there anything more futile? Or it's just like, oh yeah, that is one of those modern inventions that you blow the leaves and then they come back. Is that futile sounds like exactly the right term for it. And they're sort of being disenchanted with these empty promotional promises that like, do this and make $1 million, do that. And I think Ben Folds was involved in the album as well, like that
Yes.
producing it. So just yeah, definitely for a total change of pace that Rollins is still involved with. I can't get behind that is ironically a song I can get behind for its pure enjoyment.
Love it. I love its inclusion here.
Yeah.
Um, and if you listen to the spoken word stuff,
Mhm.
you hear how that all came about.
Yes.
He met him somewhere and said, "Oh, I'm having a party. We're going to watch the football game or whatever. Why don't you come over?" And he's like, "Seriously?" He's like, "Yeah, come on over." So he went over. He says, "There's all these other famous people there," and he doesn't care about football. But they were just hanging out, and hey, free food, and he's eating and stuff, and he's walking, he's going home, and he's like, "I'm William Shatner's friend now. That is so strange."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just yeah. So that's probably how it came about that he was on the recording
Love it.
for that album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Now, I'm guessing your fifth one might not feature William Shatner, but I bet it's a good one all the same. And
Wonder if I could make it do that
yeah.
somehow. No.
Yeah.
My last one has a whole story.
Yeah.
And for anybody who paid attention to KMA back when I was posting more often, and I apologize to everyone, you'll remember this story. So my number one is a cover song, and it is their cover of the Pink Fairies' "Do It," the song called "Do It." And there was a Rollins band album called "Do It," but I didn't take it from there. I took it from the live album called "The Only Way to Know for Sure." And it was called that because it went directly from the stage down the cables into the recording truck. What they recorded went on the CD. They didn't edit anything. The original song is again about freedom, rebellion, the spirit of rock and roll. Don't talk about it, just do it. Don't think about it, just do it. And of course, the Rollins band adds this punishing bass line and rhythm to it, and it just ramps everything up because of course it does. It was a punk song to begin with, but Rollins somehow made it more so. And he's so passionate and dialed in on this live version of this song. If you ever saw the band in concert, you know what I'm talking about. That energy, that every drop of sweat. But what made it number one on my list is that this is a 2 CD album, and it has 28 songs, and this track comes in at number 22. So it is well late in the gig. They are already cooking. They should already be tired. but somehow he has more energy on that track than he did at the start of the gig.
He was just getting
Like,
warmed up earlier. Yeah.
yeah, it's like it took the first 20 songs for him to get warmed up or something, but he was giving it the whole time. It's just somehow when he gets to that, he's just pounding. And I don't know how his voice survived that long. I don't know how his energy only increased as he went along. um, but all of this is precisely why that live album is my one and only workout album. And this is the story. Anybody who paid attention to the KMA back in the day, I said it was my goal because I have a heavy bag and I like to punch it. It's a great stress reliever and it's a good workout. And I said I wanted to be able to work out on the heavy bag for the entirety of that 2 CD live album, which isn't like a long time. Mm-hmm. And any workout person would say you're nuts. But I haven't managed it yet. Yeah. I have come close a couple of times, but you just get tired, right? Like you can't do it. But the reason is because I figure if Rollins can do it, right? He's got that energy. He's on that stage. This is 20 years ago, this album came out, right? And he can do that. He can be up there in that energy and that space and just giving it like that. Why can't I? It's completely motivational, right? So my goal, like what have I got to complain about? Right. Right. So get moving, get sweaty. And the message of that song is a great reminder. Yeah. But if anybody's listening and they want to just hear one Rollins song, it's not even a Rollins song, it's a cover tune, but a Rollins version, that one I think would trump most of them. I think it's the whole album's great. Right. I remember we were in Toronto and it was $2.99 at Sonic Boom for the 2 CD. Yeah. And I handed it to Mike and I said, I bought it. And I said, this is for you. You need to have this.
I liked it. Nice. And I like that idea that you were saying, like Rollins said for Ace of Spades, like if you've got 2 minutes and 13 seconds to spend, with Rise Above, if you've got 3 minutes to spend. I like how with the double CD, if you've got $3 to spend, you're not going to get a much better return than that.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure you're going to find it at that price again. No. but I'm guessing they didn't care or didn't know what they had.
Right, that's right.
But I would say even if it was full price, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy one, because it's a collection of songs that span the discography.
Yes.
But it's the sound quality, everything. It's right in your face. I love it.
Love it. And that there was no studio wizardry. It's just whatever happened on stage, that's on the CDs. So love
that's
it.
How you know it's the only way to know for sure.
I like it. Nice. For my fifth song, it was one of those ones where I find it when making lists, it's often the albums that I spend the most time with, that those are the songs that end up standing out to me. And the Black Flag album that was on the 1001 albums list was Damaged. So I went back to Damaged for that one. And although it arrived as an honorable mention for you, it ended up making the cut for me. The song is called Room 13. And
yes!
So, and it's fun. Like I can't remember exactly when I heard it, because I'm sure I would have already been reading you and James by that point. And so probably when I heard that lyric, "Keeps Me Alive," it was probably a double take moment. It's like, wait a second, I've heard that lyric somewhere before. But there's an urgency to it, and I really like right towards the end, he says, "I need to belong." And it's like you were talking about earlier with Fool, that idea of like the vulnerability, the humanity, just that sort of, there is that, even though like some people might dismiss it as, oh, he's yelling, he's that sort of thing, but there is that real need for human connection and that belonging. And I remember the Jim Blossoms, the song "Hey Jealousy," they had a lyric jump out at me a few years ago that I guess I hadn't picked up on before. But in the second verse of that, he says, "All I really wants to be with you, feeling like I mattered too." And it's probably things that maybe when I was like when you listen to something the first time, it doesn't jump off, but that jumped off at me when I was revisiting this. That idea of like I need to belong, that need for community, and yeah, just wonderful tune. And having the Aaron and James Association definitely doesn't hurt either. But my fifth one, Room
That
13.
that fifth pick was a plant.
Yeah. But well planted. So,
And I felt the universe shift a little bit when you mentioned the gin blossoms in a Rollins
yes.
podcast. Something clanked together there a little bit. It was awesome. It's like a shift without a clutch.
That's right. But the worlds collided nicely. So, but no shortage of stuff that people ought to hear along the way. And again, thank you for chatting as always, Aaron. And
thank you. This was fun, and I hope this leads you to more Rollins.
Yes, and hopefully other people as well. Excellent. Well, cheers.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
This has been the 1000-Second Album Podcast. Thanks for sharing some of your time, energy, and attention with us today. Take care.